What's up, y'all? Happy New Year. Hope everybody is doing well and had a fantastic and safe and awesome New Year. We got to toast after work and, go out and hang out and party and celebrate afterwards. So for a little while, we kind of hit the last hour or so of the festivities before everything was closed, but it was good times. And yeah, we're just getting back in the swing of things. We're here for our weekly energy oracle forecast for the week, where we take a look at the week ahead to see what our spiritual weather is going to be like. And up next, I will get us back on our regularly scheduled programming. As soon as I post this, I will record our anchor message for the week and get that up too. And oh my gosh, you guys, if you could smell my house right now, your mouth would water. I've got a pot cooking on the oven, making smothered cabbage. It's got yellow Yucatans, garlic, onion, celery, and smoked beef sausage, and you serve it over rice. It's so good. A little spicy, Tony's, cayenne pepper, salt and pepper. And a little bit of sriracha. It's really, really good. Oh, okay. So first card up is sorrow. So there is a feeling like, and if I take this into context with our weekly anchor message, it's like there's going to be certain things held up or mirrored to us this week. And we shouldn't shy away from it. We need to look right at it and embrace the discomfort. Because it's when we can do that we see the big highlighter on what the soul assignment is and what needs to be transformed. And the power of the transformation is heightened by the fact that we feel discomfort, but we're going to do it anyway. And we're going to practice restriction and we're going to transform and heal this thing and overcome it. So there might be some sorrow that needs to be processed or observed this week. What is causing you sorrow? Is it a mindset? Is it something real, or is it something imagined? Is this a pattern or a subconscious thing or some old wound that needs to be, moved forward from the past? Either way, there's going to be things that are mirrors for us this week, good and bad, or good, like pleasant and unpleasant, I should say, comfortable and uncomfortable. And so that might bring a little sorrow. It might, cause us to feel tempted to be down, but don't. Really embrace it, let it wash through, because this is the beginning of not just this year. I love that today is Monday, January 1st. Like, how clean of a beginning is that? Isn't it nice? Even in a Mercury retrograde, it's like we're starting January 1st on a Monday. It's just so in alignment, straightforward, organized. And I feel that this is like the actual beginning of the beginning that we've been anticipating for like the last year. When we've been talking about jumping timelines and starting this new version of life where we're like this kind of up-leveled version of self, and we're able to overcome the struggles that we once had and, not be held back by old dynamics and old beliefs and old paradigms, and to really break free of those and go forward like a new person. Choosing consciously, the life that we're co-creating with divine. And so this past year, 2023, it was like breaking down, the personality aspects that were holding us back, and then rebirthing. It was like death and rebirth. And we were like giving birth to this new self, this new consciousness, this awakening all year long. And it was like this gradual and cyclical process. And so now we're in January. We are through, the solstice. We're into the new year. We are, the Christ has come, the Christmas feast has concluded, and the birth of the Christ, the return of the light, has come into the world. So our joy, our inspiration, our abundance, our sense of possibility, our vision should be growing with the growing light of the sun. And so now it's like we're being rebirthed, and we have this renewed vigor and determination and inspiration to go after our elevation and our spiritual elevation and our soul's correction and our goals and our dreams and the vision that we see for ourselves. And so we can't carry sorrow with us. We can't avoid pain. It presents every day in some form. But then again, so does pleasure. And so it's like when we don't resist the pain, that it doesn't cause us suffering. So it's like, what is this sorrow? Why is it here? Why is it lingering? What needs to happen, or what needs to happen in the process for it to move on, right? And then, where are we just not realizing that we're just deciding to stay stuck? Like, it's like at some point you're just like, you just have to like start fresh, like press the reset button. And it's like when you have like difficult relationship dynamics with people, sometimes it takes just that kind of like determination to say, okay, reset button. Like and you have to remind yourself to like stop going there mentally. Like when they hold up the mirror, I was thinking of the word trigger while I was trying to say the word mirror. When they're holding up the mirror, and it's triggering you, then it's like, you have to decide in that moment, okay, I'm not going to keep letting this bother me. Like at some point I have to let this go and just learn to like coexist and like not let this cause me distress and not let this cause me separation from the light of the Creator. I'm either in cause consciousness or not. I am either an awakened, person on a spiritual path. I'm either a spiritual co-creator with the light of the Creator or I'm not. I'm either having affinity with the light of the Creator or I'm not. And so is there something that needs to be resolved and healed and moved beyond in order to maintain affinity with the light of the Creator? And when these things trigger us at any given moment, it's like if we let them bother us and get us down, it's like we have to ask ourselves, is this worth falling out of affinity with the light of the Creator over? Because then I'm going to fall out of the flow of miracles and abundance and blessing too. And things are going to be more difficult and turbulent. Is it worth it? And also, I can embrace this discomfort and really go deep in the process. And then by doing that, really be deeply transformed and open up so much more light and so much more miracle juice and so much more power. So, don't know what is going to be sorrowful, but maybe it's already been there and it's being released. And that's kind of what I feel like is happening. It's not like a new event, I don't think. Victory. Oh my gosh, victory over sorrow. It's like a spiritual and emotional renewal. It's like when you finally get over something that has saddened you or that has had a cloud over you or cast a shadow over, just like a little bit of darkness over your life. It's like you feel renewed and reborn. And it's like this feeling of invigoration that you haven't felt in a while. It's like when you haven't been out or done anything or seen anyone in a while, and then suddenly like you meet up with some friends or a friend and you have a really great meal or you have a really good time and you're just like, wow, like I'm really nurtured by that and I feel good and I'm feeling like a good memory still like lingering of how great the meal was and like what a good time and the great conversation and and like you feel good and it's like lingering. It's like that kind of feeling is like coming back. It's like we're like, oh, I'm not feeling the sorrow that I once felt. I'm able to let go of it. I'm able to rise above it now and really embrace the joy, the growing joy as the light is growing once more. We're over the hump. We're over the hardest part. Now the healing is really starting to show. Victory over sorrow. Connection. So yeah, and like seeing how it is all connected. Like it's all coming together for us this week in our mind. Like we're putting the pieces together, but also the work that we have done, our inner work, is starting to become integrated in our psyche and in our behavior. And so then that work is starting to become evident in the circumstances of our life. It's like things are starting to change. And not only that, we are starting to become more empowered by the process because we can see how it's connected. We can see how when we make a sacrifice of our own ego, of our own discomfort, of our own, pride or our own righteousness, and when we sacrifice that part of our ego, it reveals a greater part of our soul. It deepens our level of security and inner peace and fulfillment and feelings of gladness and satisfaction. And so, wow, we're like, wow, the benefits are so valuable that we're not even bemoaning the discomfort of having something presented to us about ourselves anymore that we need to change. It's like, oh, this is actually great. I'm so glad that this is coming up because now I can get to the bottom of it and it's not going to create chaos anymore. I'm going to have like even more like fluidity and ease and, be up-leveled even greater in a greater way. So this is like integration, and this is the up level. It's like we are now in this new chapter, in this new cycle. It's going to feel elevated, and we're going to start noticing that things are starting to improve. We're going to see the fruits of improvement, and we're going to feel better, and we're going to think better, and we're going to be emoting in a more healthy way. And everything is going to become, we are becoming more grounded. And so everything else is going to be a little bit more solid. Like our foundations are smooth and level, and we can build like sound structures, right? But yeah, just seeing how everything is created or seeing how everything is connected is like fueling our fire and like our enthusiasm for the process. The process of overcoming our ego. It's like we're seeing how the ego has caused us sorrow. And so it's becoming easy to just go ahead and mourn that and give it up, right? Let the death happen. Sweet release of death, sweet surrender, overcoming this, and really like taking a minute to really look at the connection of how the sorrows have not only come from the ego, but have inflamed the ego. It's like the ego causes the sorrow inflames the ego. It's a vicious cycle, right? And so the only way to break it, right, is to sacrifice the ego, die to the ego, mourn, what you thought, and move forward, right? Change, decide to change, embrace the new, embrace the change. Embrace the healing. Let it be different. Let it be better. Let it heal. Let it be changed. Dynamics, situations. If you're like going into work every day, like dreading like certain activities or duties that you have, try to really throw yourself into it with enthusiasm and from a perspective or a consciousness of how you can share, how you can give, how you can really embrace it. I'm doing this too. It's difficult. There are certain things and that I'm challenged with, and but we're all working on this together, and we're overcoming, and our unity and our gathered consciousness is actually supporting the process for each of us. In Judaism, it's called a minyan. When you gather 10 or 12 people to pray together for a cause, it makes your prayer so much more powerful, so much more effective, and it gets you so much more results. Because everyone, the unification and the sharing and the unified consciousness and intent is what makes it powerful. So if you're going to do so, that's why group challenges are so effective, not just because of the accountability, but because of the feeling of unity. It creates victory. All right, you guys, I am looking forward to the week ahead. It is not going to not be jarring at times. You may feel triggered, you may feel sorrow, but just lean into it all. Embrace it and let it show you what it needs to show you in order to transcend that and to heal it, to move beyond it so you can be free of it and liberated and victorious. Victorious. All right, ciao, happy new year.